Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. And you know what? There's not going to be a Toy Duo live today, but I got this video premiering so you can sit right back and watch the Toy Duo clips. It's basically some of the toy conversations you didn't know you needed and some of the history of the 80s, specifically just the toy history of the 80s parts and some of the other kinds of conversations that we may have had during those episodes.
Action, fear, and toy news, talking movies and TV, all the best that represent like Hasbro and fun and the cats too. The Toy Duo team brings it all to you. The Toy Duo team brings it all to you. The Toy Duo team brings it all to you. Sit right back for all the toy news you didn't know you needed.
The crowdfund update you did not know you needed.
Actually, it says you didn't know.
Well, I just read it correctly. All right. So anyways, the HasLab Rattler has finally passed and unlocked the final tier, which is the Baroness. This morning, it finally hit 18,000 or whatever it was that's needed. The project still has 2 days to close. Does anyone want to take a guess on what that final number will be?
Vern, can you pull down that chat so we can see the full picture?
I say 21,213.
There you go.
Yeah, I was going to say 21,000.
I was going to actually say 21,213.
I was going to say, I'm just going to go a little bit under and 21,212.
Oh,
A little priceless.
I don't even think it's going to match.
The closest without going over wins a Rattler.
I'm gonna say $1.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to back. I think people are going to pull out.
Yeah, they're all gonna. 2,000 people are gonna.
Yeah, so 2,000 people are going to back up.
All
right
their
out.
credit cards will bounce and not go through.
John's gonna cancel the 4,000 that he ordered. Just to
What
get
if
the final
like
tier.
Visa or MasterCard like went out of business and like 30,000 people's things wouldn't go through? Like, what would they do?
They contact you and just say, now what do you want to do? How do you want to do?
Yeah. I noticed this that she has like extra hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that like you, Vern?
I don't have extra hair.
Does
Just
she come
the
with a
one?
patch though?
That you cannot prove it. But anyways,
You cannot prove it.
you cannot prove that.
Headphones, extra hair, that's and a helmet.
All right.
Vern,
So
did you snap that shot this morning?
I did.
So it's 18,567 right now.
Wow.
So that's,
So another 200 just since, and I actually did that at like 11.
so very, very, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say 20,000. I think they'll hit
And
20.
it ends this week, 2 days. Oh, 2
Yeah.
days.
2 days. Yeah. You get now, especially now that they've got her unlocked, I think it'll jump again. Yeah.
So Clash of the Titans also came out in 1981. Who has Clash of the Titans figures?
I do.
I hope that's a tail.
It is a tail.
Yeah, and most of the time that's missing when you try to find that figure. The one that I have is missing.
I have those
Where are we
two
here?
guys that are shown there on the middle and on the right.
I have a custom-made Boo Boo. Boo Boo is the owl.
And
I have
there's
a
a skeleton
custom-
guy that looks like the Emperor.
Yeah, I have,
Yeah, I
all
have-
three of these, and I have
Bragging Camp. Hey, that's Bragging Camp, man.
But the problem is, I don't know. I think they're because I'm rearranging stuff, so I'm trying to remember where I.
You
set
have the Pegasus carded, right?
I just don't know where I set it down. So
I think it might have been in a box that you shipped me.
hopefully, it didn't fall in a trash bag. That
Ooh,
one.
could you?
So this is Vern's most wanted 6-inch figure line.
Yes, I would love it if they did a Clash of the Titans 6-inch figure line. And Josh over at Cat Cave had 3D printed me these
Oh,
wings
right on.
a while back. But I asked him to do it in black because I wanted it for my Black Knight.
Yeah.
And I have another Lord of the Rings horse that I think I'm going to, a white one that I'm going to put wings on and make it like a Pegasus just to prepare because you never know when
Yeah,
you're
that's
going to
cool.
need a flying horse. Let's see. Star Wars Vintage Collection, Streets of Most Likely playset inspired by episode 4.
Yeah, I like that. That was probably, one of the two cool announcements, or I guess 3 announcements I liked yesterday.
Yeah, I liked it too.
which we'll get to in the hot or
Yeah,
not
I know that comes later, right?
So this is the crowdfund update you didn't know you needed, and your guys are probably going, why are we having a crowdfund update to finalize the HasLab? But first, we need to talk about something else. Super 7 ran kind of like a crowdfund thing on their website and closed it for pre-orders on the Tiamat Dragon. But somehow, if you go to Amazon and the Super 7 store, you can still pre-order it.
That's crazy. But can I make one comment? Vern, is that your show voice that you use when you say things like that?
What do you mean?
This is game show voice.
That's how I talk.
And remember the $300.
Have a nice day.
Thanks for ordering.
Yeah, I just think it's crazy that like Super 7, I feel like they just pulled a fast one on everybody by saying, hey, we're going to have this limited time release. And then they did that thing on their website and they said, and we'll just secretly make 1,000 of them and continue to sell them over on Amazon. No one will ever know.
Vern,
Can you make 4 easy installments of $25?
Not on Amazon, no.
No, but apparently you can pay $200 and get an Amazon Prime card.
That is true. You could do that. What does Rick want me to do? I couldn't hear because
Vern will post that below.
Everybody was. I'm sorry. What?
You'll post my link below, my affiliate Amazon link.
No, I won't do that.
No, man. Exit Dino now. Gap, be nice, will you? What's going on?
Yeah, nobody wants to buy that. It's a Super 7.
Vern's gonna get it. Vern.
I like Super 7, but $300 for a
so you can buy
Dragon.
it. Okay, hold on. Nobody's gonna want this, but what do you guys think about that though? Like,
There's
very
no rules.
odd.
Doesn't that
There's
seem
no
like
rules.
like
Was it
in a way like
Well,
what?
Was it on
I've
Amazon during the campaign, or did they just
No,
post
that's
this
right now.
after?
I took that picture like right before earlier today when I was finishing stuff up. Like there's the link for it if you guys want to go check it out. It's
yeah,
for
I
pre-order.
saw it on Amazon earlier today. Yeah.
You can pre-order.
Or was it on, or did they just not close the Amazon offering, or
Well, it'd be stupid business to close a link to something that's not made yet.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
not
no.
money
The
for
website, you cannot buy it on their Super 7 website anymore.
right, but you can go
You
to Amazon and buy it.
That's
So what
what
they did is they probably made,
it's the same
okay,
as
we're making
Hasbro.
3,000 of them. 1,000 of them are going to Amazon and 2,000 for some. They did some kind of assortment.
It's
There's
the same
always a-
thing that Hasbro does. You go on Pulse and it's sold out, but you go on Amazon and it's still there. You know, I've never understood why
Completely different companies.
a lot of companies do that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's nuts. It's like almost thinking like, so you know when that Dragon Man is done at Pulse, like is it still going to be available on Amazon for me to pre-order?
Yeah.
No, because that one's actually Amazon.
Oh, it's a Pulse
Hasbro
exclusive, right?
exclusive.
But I'll be
toy.
able to pick up all the extra ones that they made at Ross next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's pretty funny because you can actually order any one of the Dungeons and Dragons items from here, from
Right,
that.
and they're
that
all
same
like,
link.
closed on Super 7's website.
Yeah.
And then they keep saying, oh, 4 days left. If you want to get it, 4 days. And did they pat themselves on the back?
No, they didn't even bring this up, did they?
No,
The closeout of the Rattler. No?
no, I don't think they had enough time.
That was even mentioned.
No,
I think they were kind of rushing, weren't they? Because they were coming close to the end. It was the Marvel team and then Transformers.
Yeah, so it was 26,000 when they closed, and then the next day all of a sudden it was 28,000. So how do you account for 2,000 more?
So did I guess
Other
exactly right?
retailers that they partner with probably reporting figures at the end.
That's exactly the number I guessed, isn't it? You have to rewind to last week's show to find out. And confirm.
There, this is Icon Heroes. These are the guys that sent me those Zujitsu action figures. They're running a Kickstarter for their comic book.
Comic book, right?
It's 100% funded. They only needed $1,500 to get that thing produced. They're at $2,600. They unlocked their second stretch goal. They got one more stretch goal coming up at 3,500. So if you guys are interested in a comic book about martial arts fighting animals, they have it over on Kickstarter. They also have their action figures just available for pre-order. So they're not going to be doing a Kickstarter on the figures. It's just for the comic book.
Very cool.
Moving along, in 1982, you had the release of the Indiana Jones figures, the Tron figures, and the Master of the Universe figures.
Big year.
Yeah.
Wow.
It seems like 1982 was huge for action figures because this isn't it, basically. You also, like Dan was saying earlier, was G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, popped up in the 3.34-inch scale, and Action Force was born in 1982.
Thriller. Okay, I changed my mind. 1982 Thriller is one of my fonder memories.
Was that
it?
when...
Oh, yeah.
That's what Zero Hunter's saying.
Yeah.
What's going on, Matt? I remember getting that album like it was like a, like a Playboy centerfold with Michael Jackson laying like on a carpet. I don't know, some white suit kind of thing. But I'm pretty sure that was my first record album. So like one of my first music purchases, really.
Album.
Yeah, I'm surprised that didn't come up on my when I was doing notable events of the 80s. But yeah, it looks like it was November 1982. Anyways, here's the crowdfund update you guys didn't know you needed. Do you know which crowdfund is still out there?
McFarlane?
The Todd McFarlane, I think, surpassed $2 million on his.
Yeah, I think that closed last week though. But
Indiegogo, which is insane, man, insane.
Oh,
$2
yeah.
million freaking dollars.
The update I have is that at New York Comic Con, you're going to have the reveal of the Ghostbusters HasLab.
And I think it was funny. I posted that on Twitter, and someone said, "What do you think it is?" And I'm just like, "Really?" You get two guesses, and the first two, or you get three guesses. The first two.
I think it's a 1/12 scale Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. So here are some action figure lines that came out in 1983. The first picture there is the advanced Dungeons and Dragons figures that were released by TSR. That bottom picture there is the Black Star figures from Galoob. Now that Black Star came out a few years earlier, but the figures came out in 1983. And then on the right side of the screen, on the right side of the screen, does anybody know what those are?
That is Avatar figures.
No. What are they?
No.
Avatar.
Any guesses? Any guesses from the chat?
No.
Did anybody have any of these figures? I'll give you a hint.
I did. I had the blue guy.
Made by Revell.
Have to blow it up and look. No, they
It's
look
not
familiar. But I
Star
don't know.
Wars, but it's Star Lords, something
Rick is super
Star
close.
Lord.
Something Lord. Right?
Insectivoids or something like that, or what was
Star
it?
Warriors, Damn. But this is like the
Star
last year I played with toys.
I don't think we know.
It is
Power
Power
Lords.
Lords. Power Lords. Yeah, by Revell.
Power Lord. Oh wow.
Power Lords. Yeah, you
Good
had half
going,
of it right. If we were playing,
I got all of it right. What part did I get wrong? The power or the lords?
Well, you said Power Lords after I said Power Lords. You just
I didn't hear.
came in as my echo.
I didn't hear you say anything. I'm
You
sorry.
kept saying something Lords, but then I said Power
Mr.
Lords, and you were
Brent.
like Power Lords. I got it.
I did have a couple D&D figures.
Did you?
War Duke and the little dwarf guy,
Yeah.
Elfhorn.
Nice.
These are the ones that that they were making those 7-inch ones based on these original sculpts. That the problem with this line, when I was reading about it, was they released these toys and then Dungeons and Dragons cartoon came out and they changed all the characters. They didn't really use any of these characters.
Yeah, no, they were not affiliated in any way.
Yeah, so the popularity of these just kind of went away because, everybody wanted the cartoons.
They were popular
All right.
with like the He-Man kind of collectors,
Yeah.
like people that liked, men in loincloths and
Right.
shirtless, muscular bodies.
So I'm going to show this. This is something that I posted up on Twitter earlier.
They did.
They sent me an email from Super 7 telling me that the pre-orders are going to end Sunday at 11:59. But the thing is, they sent me a similar email about that Tiamat when that thing was getting ready to end, and all those figures, and you can still go pre-order those over on Amazon on the Super Sevens store on Amazon. So I almost am not buying the Silverhawk still.
Were you
To
thinking
me-
about buying the Silverhawks?
No, it's just a marketing thing, but it's
Yeah.
like this show that I used to watch is called 30 something, and the guy is in marketing, and he's like saying he stayed up late. The story was he stayed up late and he's watching like one of those late night sales shows, whatever they're called, telemarketing shows or whatever, and they're saying there's like these wooden ducks. He's talking about wooden ducks, and Dino will like this because it's about ducks.
I like wooden ducks.
But he's
got one.
He's telling his wife in the morning, like, because this is the epiphany of life or something. He learned a life lesson. He is like saying the ducks, they're saying, get them now. They're going to be gone. There's like 60 seconds left, 30 seconds left. But he knows that's just a marketing scam. So he waits till all the time is over and then calls to order the ducks.
Disney.
And
made
then I'll
the
let you
Star
watch
Speeder.
that episode of 30 something to see how it turned out.
I used to love that show.
These are some of the action figure lines that came out in 1984. You have the Secret Wars line.
I have
came out.
them still. I have
You-
them all.
Does anybody have that playset?
No, but I've been tracking one. I've been trying to get it recently because it's
That looks cool.
surprisingly very cheap compared to the other places
Yeah,
of that era.
It's
The
not
thing
very
is-
exciting. I've seen them. They're not super exciting.
The other line that I found that came out in 84 was this little guy right here, and I cannot for the life of me have
John, we know
remember-
about that guy.
Yeah, those are Remco.
Remco.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, Remco
The
heroes.
American Gladiator or something like that.
No, it was something else.
Yeah.
John and I did a video on those. I went to Full Moon Toys and Collectibles, and they had a whole
Yep.
bunch of them, and we were sorting them out, getting the weapons and everything.
Well, good thing you guys remember the name of the figure line.
And the store.
It's Galaxy something, right?
Yeah,
Galaxy
Galaxy Heroes or something like that.
Yeah, Galaxy Heroes. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so those were the only action figure lines I could really find from 1984 that came out. Of course, there were a lot of figures that came out, but this is basically the first time we would have seen them. Action figures that came out in 1985. Since there were no more Star Wars movies at the time, they had to figure out how to continue the Star Wars line, so they released droids.
And the Ewoks.
Dumpy called it.
Well, droids came out in 1985. You got the Thundercats that were released in 1985. These guys down here, this is not the first wrestling figures. These are the WWF by Remco. Remco released theirs in 1985. I think before it was LJN or whatever that company is. So here are a few. Did anybody collect any of these action figures?
Not at this age. 84 was kind of 85. I was out.
You were too old.
Well, I sold. We moved from Ontario to British Columbia, and I sold all of my toys to my next door neighbor for 10 Canadian dollars.
You felt rich, didn't you?
So, like Millennium Falcons and Dewbacks and GI Joe whales and figures, $10 for it all.
Yep.
I wasn't spoiled, but I had dozens and dozens of figures and toys.
Wow.
Those are the days.
Yep. And then also the Princess of Powers were released, and Mask
Yeah.
came out in 1985. So that's pretty good. 85 was a pretty good year for action figures.
Yeah, Gap says muscles. I remember snagging muscles, picking them up on the cheap every once in a while, bubblegum
Yeah,
machines,
Muscles.
stuff like that. Smurfs too, like that was kind of
Was that
late in toy
1985?
collecting.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
because of how I hear it. Anyways, here are some toy lines that came out in 1986. You got the Inhumanoids were launched.
Yep.
Mad Balls.
Inhumanoids.
So,
The
did you guys-
evil that
the funny thing
lies
is, so-
within.
I've
Did
been
you collect
collecting
all of
toys.
these?
I was buying in 11th grade. I was
Nerd.
buying these Inhumanoid figures.
Nerd.
So
Yeah.
I was collecting even in high school.
Yeah, I
Nerd.
was still buying them. I had Decompose. And,
I was not like 86 has kind of got to be the tail end of me even owning toys, but I do remember getting into BMX bikes and
Yep.
AFX. One of my friends in school had these cool AFX sets, and I ended up buying one and having a few extra cars, but I wasn't like showing them off to my friends and stuff.
I had a job in 11th grade. I was painting houses, so I bought all these figures with my own money. I had all the big Inhumanoids, and I had all the smaller creatures, but I never bought any of the humans.
And you have a lot from your collection from your childhood, right?
No, I had to rebuy.
Okay.
The only one I still have is the rock guy. The one on the bottom of all the
Rock
middle
Lord.
left.
How many toys from your childhood do you have? Like Dan and Vern and Super John?
I have a lot.
So does anybody know why they? Okay, does his trivia? Who knows why they called the toys in the cartoon the real Ghostbusters?
I know
License thing.
because Ghostbusters was already a toy thing from Filmation.
It was already a cartoon.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't it a? It goes even further back than that. I think there was.
Yeah, it was a live action. That same cartoon was actually a live action.
I think what was it? Hanna-Barbera or something owned it.
Yeah, or Nickelodeon,
Filmation.
Hanna-Barbera.
And it was there was like a monkey and some other stuff.
No, it was a gorilla.
Yeah, well, same thing.
No, it's
Yeah,
not
from
the same thing.
1975
Chimpanzee.
CBS TV show called Ghostbusters. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why when they went to go do the TV thing, they couldn't use just Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the toy line ended up being called the real Ghostbusters.
I have them right here.
And to compete, they did the Ghostbusters cartoon at this. Weren't they on at the same time?
They were. That's exactly why they couldn't use the same name.
Yeah.
And I believe there is a new animated Ghostbusters series in the works for Netflix or something.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, hold on.
It might carry on with this color scheme. I don't know. If X-Men 97 is going to go retro, then why wouldn't they consider it with Ghostbusters?
All right. Okay, so this is the crowdfund update you did not know you needed, and luckily we have a Hasbro crowdfund where we can talk about. It's the Ghostbusters HasLab, which comes with not one option but two options, which Rick will be happy to tell you he called out in his Left Coast Theories days ago.
He did.
Go ahead.
Well, you just said it.
Oh, okay.
You just.
I like the way they're doing this. I think it's my favorite. Is not such a funny word. My most preferred way of them making this style of Ecto available. I think I don't see anything wrong with it. Like I think it's pretty cool, and it's not just tiers and hidden tiers and things like that.
Great.
So like the Cantina, here's our base offering, and then here's another offering for like $100 or so, like with more stuff. I think that's cool.
Yeah. I think that it's very different from the Cantina, even though it has the two price points, because the Cantina actually had attainable tiers, and this basically only has a fund in 2 weeks, and you get this extra figure, and that's
basically,
it.
Yeah, I guess.
So basically, right now, that's the price for this stuff, and if it funds, you may get one more figure.
So why do you think the 2 weeks is such a big deal to them, that it has to be funded within 2 weeks to get that extra figure? Why?
The annual quarter, the fourth quarter ends before November 30th. So I don't know. That got to have something to do with it.
I also think it has something to do with them wanting to be able to like move it into more of a production thing. So they have pretty much a guarantee they're going to have it funded. So they should just keep their people working. And I imagine, man, if this thing like dragged out, there might be people's jobs on the line, right? Like people who are on the Ghostbusters team that maybe dealt with action figures. If this thing doesn't get funded within a certain amount of time, we may have to start thinking about laying you off because there's no need to have action figure stuff anymore.
And I just think for $75 you get 4 figures with all the packs and accessories and the extra electronic roof, and the sticker sheet and some extra like bumpers and little things. But I think that's just you can't beat that. Like it seems like how could they do that? So I think it's great. I think it'll fund.
Do you think they're going to be stickers that you have to apply?
They are
I think
stickers.
I think they're going to be like those window decals that you put on like your glass windows that you can peel off and kind of put back on, and maybe if you wash it, it sticks back on
They're
again.
not going to be static cling, but Mr.
It's going to be
Stevie's
something very similar to that.
He's been asking on Instagram if you want
Dave's
removable
Dimension
stickers.
posted that they had somebody talking to the Hasbro team, and they're going to be kind of making something that's semi-reusable that you might get 3 to 5 sticks out of it. So that's why I'm imagining it's going to be kind of like that window decal, but maybe with some adhesive on the back.
Oh, definitely was adhesive, just half the amount. So Mr. Stevie's been asking if people want the option of a removable sticker on the retro collection, because people do complain about those stickers and using hair dryers and whatever they use, lighter fluid. Because there is a lower tack adhesive where, like, some price tags are lower adhesive stickers so they don't damage the product. So
yeah, right.
But I mean, like Vern said, you can only get a couple of shots. Like they're either paper so they can rip, and if they're vinyl, they can stretch. So
yeah.
So here's the problem with like, I'm not a Pulse member, right? So this isn't going to be $3.99 for me. I got to add in the $50 shipping.
It's $25.
Is that what the price of the shipping is? Okay,
it's
so then that's not that bad. But check this out. It's like, so somebody posted a comment on my video that I did where I did the kind of wrap up on this vehicle, and they kind of said something about like they weren't really interested in the additional tier, but they kind of gauged each figure being about a $15 value and the roof rack being like about $15 with the breakdown. And that's probably right, considering the figures didn't have good resellability anyways, the original ones. But the thing is, it's like, then he said, oh, I think the base model should have been $25 cheaper considering the 4 figures and stuff like that. And then I started thinking like, well, I bet it was priced $25 higher than what they intended to make the deluxe tier seem more attractive.
There you go. Yeah.
I don't see many people getting not the deluxe tier. Do you know what I mean? Like for that $75,
you're getting 4 figures with all those accessories and the roof rack, which you may or may not ever use, but you're still going to get it.
And I guess the only tier is back it by this day, and you get the Rick Moranis figure. So that's include that with the normal Ecto 1 price. Like if more people back it in the first week or 2 weeks, whatever it is, then you get that free Rick Moranis figure, whether you back either format.
Right.
The deluxe or the Ecto 1 or
and
the
everybody
Ecto 1A.
gets it, even if you don't back it within that window. It sounds like even
if you don't
really, it could be 3 figures in the initial bang.
So like if I wait out the and I crowdfund on the last day and just the base model, if it funded in 2 weeks, I'm still going to get the Moranis figure, the Tully.
Yeah, but if you're going to get it, you might as well just back it now, because we want that Rick Moranis. So don't wait.
It's a good incentive. It's it's fair. It's always tough when you have these crowdfund things close to holidays and stuff. And
check this out.
Overlapping with other crowdfund things from the same company.
Look,
you just paid for it 4 months ago. So
Storyteller saying they might be afraid of the world will end after the election. That's like a movie. But you know what might be close to the truth? You might be looking at a 2,000% tariff on this thing, which would make this thing $40,000.
Now they've already billed your
invoice. Guess who's going to be paying that? You.
Probably.
Jeez.
I think it's a good deal. I'm happy for this, and the people that can get it, Ghostbuster fans. It's not in it for me. Like, I'm a Ghostbuster fan, but I'm going to stick with my O-ring figures that I'm still waiting for, and then find the perfect 1/18 scale Ecto 1 for my collection.
So I just have, raise your hand, including the people in the chat. Put up your hand if you are going to get this.
In the chat?
Yeah, in the chat and on the stream.
Oh,
Are
I
you
see
gonna-
Jono's hands up.
Okay, so Jonathan's throwing some speculation out there saying that someone was saying last night that if you don't get the early bird if you don't back it before the time is up. Now the thing is, I'm pretty sure that's not how. Oh, hold on, that's not how I read it. I'm going back. I didn't find that.
Yeah, I pulled that up and I'm trying to read through the website to see if it's
Yeah,
it's
I was trying to go through the
They need
slideshow.
10,000 backers
as a reminder.
by, was it 2 weeks from now?
Yeah, so like because it said everybody gets the Tully, and we'll just read what it says. Hold on.
Yeah, they would not give it to people that, backed it the day after it makes 10,000 before the deadline.
So which costume did Rick Moranis have? Did he have the dark gray or the beige?
Yeah, my internet's super.
They both
slow.
had beige. Like they wore beige and the dark gray. I don't think Rick Moranis was in the dark gray as well. I could be wrong, but I know all these 4 characters were in both.
Yeah, they were, but in the first movie, the second movie, they were in the darker, right?
Well, they were also in the lighter in the second movie with the
Oh, they
Ghostbusters
were?
2 logo. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
they wore both. Dave confirmed that with me the other day.
Okay. If
And they
Dave
do look
says
like
that
they're the same
then I
figures,
believe it.
just repainted, right?
What's that?
I think they said that all those head sculpts are new, but they didn't confirm. The bodies look to be the same bodies as the original Plasma series.
Yeah, it's probably because it's this. He's wearing Spiegler's outfit, so I'm wondering if they're just putting it on that body,
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm sure.
right?
It is for everybody. It's as a special bonus if the Ghostbusters Plasma Series Ectomobile anniversary
Thank you,
edition traps the minimum backer amount within the first 14 days of the campaign. All backers will receive the 6-inch Lewis.
14 days, and it's free.
You know what? I'm gonna have to wait and
Oh.
see. Just
14 days.
I didn't put my hand up. I don't know how many people put their hand up, Dean, but I'm gonna have to wait and see. I mean, I just had my car worked on
Yeah.
again for the second time in like 2 weeks, and turned out to be a lot more expensive than I thought it was going to be. So I just have to see how things work out.
I get it.
So that's why I'm not putting my name in the hat right now, is because I may not be able to.
Can you, if you back it, can you back out?
Yeah, you can back out, but I mean, like, I don't want to have that in my head. I want to know.
Yeah, it'll be like doing a subscription and forget that
Right.
you didn't.
But if you
unsubscribe.
guys in the chat want to help me buy one, you can always super chat.
Yeah.
I saw it has a USB plug too, so you can have it plugged in
Yeah.
instead of always using batteries, which is pretty cool because the
Yeah,
lights
really cool.
sounds are rad.
It is pretty awesome because not only you get those figures, you get these 2 ghosts, which is pretty cool. They look awesome here in these shots.
Yeah.
And then this is, of course, the 2-week tier that we were talking
Go
about.
back to that shot with Slimer.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Slimer looks fantastic.
See, so they show Slimer like he's floating, but they show the librarian on the actual stand. Like,
Oh, it's
Right.
just a picture that I
be
took. right?
consistent, Hasbro.
Now, if you were lucky enough to get the Maddie collection figures back in the day, you could have the librarian in her scary form.
And with those like 7 inches, a little bit bigger.
I don't think they were. I could be. I don't know for certain because I don't think I own any. But
And now
even a
Mondo's got
ghost
some
wouldn't matter
7-inch.
if it was a little bit bigger, right?
No, enough. It's a ghost, like a background character. And
Yeah.
Mondo announced yesterday some
Having
real
trouble.
Ghostbuster cartoon style colors, 7-inch figures.
Well,
they're
what do you mean?
expensive.
They've already done that. The last Comic-Con.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, they haven't made them yet. They just keep revealing them every year.
I keep trying to move the slideshow, but it keeps like jumping back. What do you guys see on your screen?
We see the
Two
Toy
vehicles.
Duo team with
Yeah, the
both-
2 vehicles.
The first
Okay.
image, I believe.
Okay. So mine's just slow because I see the 4 guys.
Now, how are you going to display it if you get it? Are you going to do the Ecto 1 or the Ecto 1A?
They both look really cool. I prefer the original myself, but I do like the caution tape and the little
Yeah.
bit of differences on the part too, because I remember it.
I'm definitely going to display it with the part 2 because I just think there's not a lot of toys out there that have the part 2 look to it. So I think it'll
Well,
just
the
stand
original
out.
Kenner did both versions originally, right?
They did, yeah, but I don't own that one.
With just the only difference was stickers.
Exactly. John, you're not getting it?
No.
Now we got Rick Moranis up. Is that what you see, Vern?
Yeah, because I now I'm slowly trying to catch up, but it's like it's hard for me because it kept jumping back and forth and stuff like that, and I think I pushed the button too many times. It just I'm having technical difficulties today.
Now, John, you
Oh,
never
man.
collected Ghostbuster toys back in the day either, huh?
No, I had some with just the regular Ghostbuster guys, but I didn't get much else. And so no, I'm not. This
I
is
sold my vintage Kenner Ghostbusters last summer. I had a nice set with the Ecto one and stuff.
So that little board on the Ghostbusters 2 thing, Dave said that is not like a LED display. That is basically
Yeah.
just a backlighted
Solid
thing.
light,
Will
yeah.
have interchangeable messages that you can put.
Yeah, well, that's cool.
Which is still a neat
That's
idea.
fine.
Yeah. All
I
right.
was
So
just
this
thinking
is the
at the
toy
beginning-
conversation you didn't know you needed, and it kind of goes right along with the whole idea of the HasLab, because this weekend at New York Comic Con, Hasbro
Wait.
announced a 22-inch or something Sentinel, and I have a question. Does this make the HasLab basically obsolete if they're just going to do these like timed releases or make as you order type things that would normally have been potentially a HasLab? Sentinel, Galactus, Giant Man could have all followed this same program right here.
I
that
think the
they've done.
price is a little bit different. This is actually under
Almost
200.
half.
Yeah, but Giant Man was $200.
Yeah, so this is under 200.
Right, but what I'm saying is, I mean, maybe does this okay? So it doesn't have lights, right? That's all you got with your Sentinel. But I mean, who got the Sentinel? John, you got a Sentinel?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I got the
I
small
got
Sentinel
Galactus,
on
but
the
not the
screen.
Sentinel.
Dan, you got the Sentinel.
Yeah, I got Sentinel.
How do you feel about this?
I mean, it's totally different Sentinel. And what? $299, right? The Sentinel was $299.
This one, this one is 175.
So $299. And what did we get? We got.
No, your Sentinel was, I think, 300 at the time, right?
Yeah, $299, right?
Yeah, 299. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got the Sentinel, you got the alternate head, you got a crushed hand, you got those little things that came out of the hands, the little twisty arm things, and then it came with a
tentacles.
couple of figures, the Bastillon and the
Yep.
other Prime or whatever.
Yeah.
I like this new cartoon one way better.
But I mean, like,
Just
does
my
this
favorite style.
does something like this Sentinel coming out for $175, where there's no limit needed to move this into production, obviously, does this just cancel out their whole HasLab idea where they say we have this dream project, but we need X number of backers to move it forward?
I think it all comes down to price.
Yeah, I was going to
gonna
say,
do both.
I'm more frustrated at the fact that we could have got the Sentinel for $200.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, like, but bigger than
Well,
that
it
to
has,
me
like,
is like
half
this
the
whole thing.
articulation, right?
Look,
It's very
that goes,
limited.
what?
It has limited articulation compared to the
Yeah.
$300 version. It's much.
I
has
don't know if
fingers.
I don't know if the articulation is going to be more limited. It definitely has
Oh,
a
it
more
is
streamlined
limited.
version. They have so much articulation in the hands. This thing has like 80 points of articulation, supposedly.
Yeah.
The arm joints look like the older Legends, so it looks like they're going to have that joint right there. Probably like the double, arm and leg. It's going to have pivots in the feet. It's got the pivots in the wrists. I'm guessing those glove pieces will probably pivot. Plus, it's got the extra faceplate. So I think fairly on par with articulation, right? Except for, I mean, because the Sentinel's doesn't really articulate super fantastic. I mean, it moves.
Does it have
you can get it
butterfly
in
shoulders on
poses.
it?
What?
Does it have butterfly shoulders on it? The big one?
I don't think butterflies, and neither did the older Sentinel either. But my my biggest thing that I think about this is they keep, like with the Giant Man, there was a bottom line. Like, we have to get 5,000 backers to move this into production. So if this thing is like made to order and only 500 people order it,
Well, that one guy is going to order 500 guaranteed. Like it's an army building thing at a realistic price. So I would say 20% of people buying this new one are buying more than one.
sure, they're going to buy multiples, but let's say, okay, well, let's just say 500
So they're going to
people
get
buy
5,000
three.
made.
Let's just say
no matter
500
what.
people buy three. That's still not the 5,000 backers you need to move this into production.
Yeah, but there's
No,
no
but
lights, there's no
If
sound.
they showed a
making
tracker
this-
on their website, you would see they've already sold more than 5,000 of them.
That's
Is
not
it
the
available
point,
yet?
Rick.
Like-
That's not the point.
Well, I
It's
thought
not
it
the
was.
point
You brought
of
up.
they've already sold 5,000. The point is if they only sold 500, they
Yeah.
would still make this. So their whole
Yeah, my
program
point
of
is though,
this
it's not a
dream
character
project
they're going
saying
to.
we have to
load.
have a minimum number of backers before we can move forward with this project. And if you look at the
Vern-
Giant Man, it is exactly like this.
Vern, it
Is
might
this
come
a
down
more-
to bait. I
What?
bet they believe that it was going to sell more, so they could almost
100%.
guarantee it was going to sell an X amount for the price and what it is, especially with X-Men 97 was so
Sure. I
popular.
mean, okay, but
Yeah.
do you think that Dragon Man was going to sell 5,000?
Yes, I think those will sell 2 times more than Giant Man. I think the Sentinel will sell 4 times more than Giant Man. I can't think of a least important
No, that's not what I'm
desirable
saying. I'm
character
saying,
than
did they
Giant Man.
think not Giant Man, Dragon Man was going to sell 5,000?
No,
I mean,
I don't
that's
Yeah,
what-
know.
that's what I'm
it's a
saying,
cool
like-
toy.
They have this thing where they say we have to get a certain number of backers to move this into production. So this tells me they could have moved that Rancor into production with the 500 fewer backers than they
Sure,
got
sure.
in that HasLab. But they created this artificial
Yeah.
pole jump level
They raised the bar.
that they almost hit but couldn't move it into production. But now they have a model where they don't even need a minimum level.
It's too bad because I bet you all 5 of us would have bought that Rancor, right?
Okay, but
No.
but you understand the point I'm trying to make now. It doesn't matter what they sold or what they're saying they're sold.
Well, it
What
does
I'm
because
saying is
the
what I'm
Rancor was a
saying is
HasLab, so it
they-
needed a level.
the HasLab.
This is not a
So-
HasLab.
So what I'm saying, they have created an artificial limit to move into production, which doesn't necessarily even exist.
No, but if you're in the toy business, it's realistic. Like same
Well,
with
it's
Gentle
not
Giant
realistic
Jumbo.
if they're
wouldn't
gonna just
make one
change their
if
model
they
and
only
say,
sold
"We'll just-
46 pieces.
We'll just throw this up for a month and see if we sell 100, and then we'll just have to make 100.
I think anything under
They would never do that.
$200, they don't do it as a HasLab. Anything $200 and higher is a HasLab.
'Cause they've
Well,
had
the
cheaper
Giant Man was
Transformer
$199,
HasLab.
right?
Okay.
And just a
199.
couple Transformer ones.
So
But
go
this
ahead,
will be
change
popular. We
your
all know it.
theory. Anyway, so do you think that the way forward should just be let's not even bother doing a HasLab and let's just do this?
No,
No.
it's not popular. Like I didn't think the Ghost would get back because I didn't think it was that popular of a TV
So-
series,
so
cartoon show, or
If that
or vehicle.
Ghostbusters Ectomobile was done in the same format and they just said no HasLab, but we're just going to offer this package that's 320, do you think people would get behind it, or do you think they only want to do it because it's called a HasLab?
I
think
think it's the incentive of the timed thing gears you're like that
Yeah.
FOMO. Like you
This is
gotta
a
get
time
it.
thing, though.
So I'd
This
say
is timed
50% of the
also.
customers get it because they have to get it.
But the thing is, this is also timed. You have to order this within a certain amount of time. You cannot go
Yeah.
on
Yeah, yeah.
Hasbro right now and order
Yeah.
Dragon Man anymore. If
Yeah,
you didn't
no.
order it, you're not getting it.
But that doesn't mean they can't bring it back. I think a
Exactly.
HasLab. I think the
There's
difference
no
is that
rules.
a HasLab they've already stated they won't bring them back.
Right.
But
Okay, so
these things 2 years from now they could just say, well, we're going to bring back there's enough demand for the Sentinel to come back. We're going to bring it back for another 5,000. Let's see what happens. You know.
No, I'm gonna picture this Sentinel and that Dragon Man as available at Entertainment Earth and Big Bad Toy Store next year sometime. After Hasbro fulfills their promise and orders, and I bet you they become available again.
Well, that's
either
just
on
because they bought a
Hasbro-
bunch of them.
Of course, yeah, they could make a deal and buy 200 of them too, right? Like,
yeah, so they probably just made a deal with Entertainment Earth and those guys to just they offered us some discount. Hey, buy, I guess, so we could get to this level where we can produce them, and that to me is like the secondary scam on the whole kind of time release. That's exactly what Super 7 did, right?
Hasbro just sent me one. It does a so you guys can see it up close.
Nice.
So this, I believe, was $18.
I never got that one.
It's cool, man. It's like the big fig.
I tried to find it. I couldn't find it.
And then they also made one that's 8 inches for the retros.
Anyways, I have a HasLab Sentinel with no accessories if somebody wants to buy it so that I can buy the new one because that one just looks way cooler.
You like the new one better?
It just looks so much cooler.
It does. It does, I think.
Really?
Now, if it came in a plastic bag, would you still get it?
Yes, because I'm going to take it out of the plastic bag.
In
But
the chat, if they shipped it in a plastic bag instead of a package, you could see the cool X-Men 97 colors and graphics. Would you still buy it if it just came in a plastic bag or a brown paper bag?
Yeah.
Because I think it matters.
But this doesn't light up or
I don't
anything,
think
right?
so. What?
No.
There's no light up?
No.
No, wait, what I think this is what I think that they should do with this 22-inch Sentinel. They should do what they did with that retro carded one and put it on a retro style card back.
Yeah.
With the big one?
Yeah, it's so cool, man.
It'd be like a jumbo, Kenner jumbo.
So
You know,
I wonder
like-
if the
6 inches bigger.
is the chest plate going to be like the one from the cantina? You know how the cantina has the tables with a light that you can put a light underneath it and it'll light up the candle? I
Yeah,
wonder if
It has
that's
one
the
that
same.
has
The
a
chest
couple of
plate
wires
comes out
sticking
because
of it.
there's a broken chest plate, and then the face has like a broken face. In the reveals, I actually have pictures of what they had on display at New York Comic Con. So when we see those, you'll be able to see the kind of options that it had.
Cool.
I didn't pull any of the pictures. Well, here you can see the chest plate piece.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah,
see the head has like some options, and he's got some blast effects.
Keep it
Who's
simple,
getting it?
stupid.
This
Raise
is a
your
real
hand if
tough one
you're gonna
too
buy one.
because it's the same situation I'm in with that HasLab, right? Like, I mean, can you do both?
Are you getting one, Vern?
Okay, I wish.
And
Dan?
Echo.
I told you guys about the car situation, so it's like I don't know what's gonna happen, right? Do I need a new car? I don't know what's happening. So
Dan, did you say you're buying it or no?
and
Nope.
they're yeah,
Passing
No?
on this
launched in 1987, Series 1.
Those
And the
are
reason I
pretty
put that
crappy
Pee Wee
looking
Herman
Silverhawks.
is because the show came out in 1986, but it appears that this Pee Wee Herman was like kind of the first toy from Pee Wee's Big Adventure or whatever his show, the Playhouse.
I got them already.
I know
And
you
then,
are, but what am I?
And then I think the Playhouse toys didn't come out until 88 almost. But these are two kind of toy lines that got their start 1987.
Those are
What
in
an
bad shape.
original, funny man. Like, you know, that's all I gotta say about Paul Rubens. Like, he was a very original, classic, funny man that appealed to kids and adults at the same time, kind of thing. In his career of playing one character on and off the stage, like Letterman or any interviews, he was still the
Yeah,
Herman,
that's
right?
why Mark Wahlberg and John Cena are so good because they basically just play themselves.
You're right.
in
You're right.
every single thing that they're in. So moving on, we got these are the action figures that launched in the year of 1988. So it was Galoob came out with their Star Trek Next Generation figures. That was in 1988, and then the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles line started in 1988.
Hell yeah.
How many of these figures do you have in your guys' collections?
All of them.
I had most of the Turtles, but none of the Star Trek.
I had all the Star Treks.
Yeah, I still have all the Star Treks. Tasha
Yeah.
Yar was the hardest one to find.
Which
And
one?
my Michael Dorn figure is signed by Michael Dorn.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Tasha Yar was the hardest one to find in this series. She
My
was short packed.
So when Playmates started making the Next Generation, I have a Riker, and he has he has 2 left feet on him.
Nice.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty
Still in
cool.
the package.
Yeah.
It was
Let's
supposed to
see.
be a shower,
Jonathan is saying, I see you're back to doing early streams. That's only this week because tonight, don't forget if you're in the US, it's time to change your clocks. You fall back tonight. Over where Jonathan is, he already changed his clocks. That's why he thinks we're going early.
Yeah,
But
because they're freaking weird over there.
I wouldn't say that. I just think they
Oh.
should tune their clocks to our time.
We should all get rid of daylight savings time.
Yeah, are any of you guys in the states that are doing it or locations? And there was like what 5 or 6 of them. That...
Yeah, I think Arizona doesn't switch. So if you're in Arizona, I think, or parts of Arizona, anyways, I think that they just stay. They don't.
Most of Indiana used to be on Indiana time, except for Northwest and Southwest Indiana. But now that part's just on Eastern full time. Yeah.
Right. All right. So,
there's still
what?
we're actually split. We have 2 different time zones.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's like just the northwest.
How much of a drive?
Like about 2.5 hours for me.
Do you ever feel like time traveling and drive over there?
Well, I tell you one thing, it messes me up when I'm because I do have to travel a lot to Wisconsin for work and sometimes Illinois, and so when I'm driving over there, it messes me up.
Yeah. All right. So Stephen Hawking's published a brief time of history, apparently in 1988. Let's see, make daylight savings time permanent. Yeah, I think if they got rid of it, I think I would be good. Gap is in Antarctica, so there's no time for him there. Jonathan's saying that they invented time.
I saw that.
Oh, so they get to make all the rules. And I'm basically posing the question, is eliminating the early bird a good faith or panic mode? Because I kind of feel like a little bit of panic over there because they weren't getting to the 12,000 quickly. And then the question also is, how will this change HasLabs? Okay, so I'm going to reduce this. And I wanted to do this because Doc Collector saying, love how they are just breaking their rules now.
Yep.
Right.
And the rules last time.
Yes. Yeah. See, and Dan brought up the Engine of Vengeance. Eric's saying it's a good thing. And that Robbie Reyes, right? They got rid of him after he didn't meet the 2 week thing. And I'm just thinking, like, do you think that they should have taken a note from that ahead of time and just not built that 2 week thing in and just said he's just included? Because
probably, but like whoever runs these campaigns at Hasbro were looking for some extra mechanism to help drive backers early on so that they could help gain momentum. You could certainly make a case for just saying, hey, this is the complete package, take it or leave it, right? No goal, no stretch goals, no gimmicks or anything. I would have been fine with that, but at the end of the day, they're achieving the same end result. In this case, it's all or nothing, no gimmicks. So,
okay, so what does that open the door for in this campaign? So they just blew the water out of their 2 week, their rule that they made for their campaign. So does this mean that if it gets to 11,500 backers, which would still be monetarily wise a big boon for them, do they then say, yeah, we're just going to move into production because
that I doubt.
Close enough.
Yeah.
I backed it. I want the product, so I'd like it if that happened. But if it was like 500 off, I don't see them doing it. They didn't do it for the Rancor. I can't remember how far the Engine of Vengeance was off, but
I'm talking. Yeah, the Rancor was like not even 500.
A couple hundred. Yeah.
Yeah. The Engine of Vengeance, I don't think got close, but that vehicle was just overpriced for what it was.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
not
yeah.
enough there.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, but they were.
They did add a lot of figures in there as tiers.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they weren't included. They were tiers that you were never going to obtain.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Why didn't they just one or the other throw those in there,
Yeah.
or lower the initial
This-
back?
Right. So do you think at this
well,
point,
they've got new people running the brands now that, right?
well, so in my video that I did, because I did a video, I kind of talked about it, and a bunch of people had comments. One person was speculating that they came out and said 12,000 backers, it'll fund. We're not going to take your money unless it funds at 12,000, blah, blah, blah. So if it gets to 11,500, and they decide at that point to move it into production, and then they take your money, they potentially open themselves up for a lawsuit. But I'm thinking to myself, anybody who backed it is not going to be suing them, that they're going to get it, right?
That's ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, this is a positive. This is a positive move. I'm still pissed about the Rancor, right? But they're learning from, right? Like they're making it. To me, this is a good faith move, right? For the backers, right?
Okay.
Where it would be nice if we could go back in time and change what they did before, but can't do that. So moving forward, I hope this sets a standard for how they're going to be dealing with various
So you think
situations. In the
this
future.
so when you say this sets a standard, they set artificial goals, like, and then just get rid of them in midstream when it doesn't working out for them?
No. I appreciate you kind of poking the bear on that, but I don't think it was necessarily like that. I think it's just when it's the right thing to do for collectors, right? Especially like for Ghostbusters, there's a limited amount of stuff you can do for that, a Ghostbusters fan, right? There's not much more they're going to do after this, so I think they could do a lot more, but let's be honest, they're not going to keep pumping out Plasma Series figures.
That's
Speaking
weird.
of 1989, Batman 89, that's when that movie came out. So we got these really cool action figures at the time.
Yeah, I have all of them.
You have that Batwing?
No, I have all the action figures.
Oh, do you have the play sets?
No, I don't have the playset or the Batwing. I have the Batmobile, but I only collect.
Have that Batmobile?
Yes, I have that Batmobile.
Wow.
I only collect Batmobiles from DC,
So
but I
this
do
is
have
Toy Biz, right? Before Kenner took over.
It is correct.
I do have the entire that entire DC line.
Wow.
It was cool.
Now, the other thing that it looked like came out was something called PVC figures. They were these little plastic,
Yeah, they look like
non-posable figures and stuff like that. They had both DC and Marvel versions, but I didn't take a picture of them.
Neat.
Let's see. Hold on. It reminds me of the Simpsons, Krusty the Clown, Soviet workers and parasites. In 1989, we just had normal death. All right.
Yeah, well,
and then
Japan was always so far ahead of us, though.
Yeah.
I went to Japan in 2006, and I don't care what Steve Jobs and Apple wants to try and tell you, but they did not invent the phone, the smartphone, because we were in Japan in 2006, and I was going, holy crap, their phones are like computers. I was like, I had no idea that stuff like this even existed, and everyone was using them. My friend who lived over there made a joke. He's like, yeah, their phones over here have everything, including a little cartoon animal that jumps out of the phone and cleans your apartment for you. And then I came back to America, and I was showing photos. I was trying to show people photographs of their phones that they had in Japan, and everybody was like, what the hell are those? Like, those aren't phones. Like, what are you talking about? I couldn't describe it. I was trying to describe what they did, and then like 2 years later, in 2008, the smartphone came out.
But you tell the story because you know that they have this thing called the smart car or whatever. It's like a little 2-seater.
Yeah.
It's that little scrunchy car came to the States maybe like 9 years ago.
Car. Yeah. That
in Europe, that car supposedly gets like 80 something miles a gallon. But when it got to the States, it was basically like 45 miles per gallon because
Yeah, they wanted to
emission
screw us.
standards or something
Yeah.
like that. So they
No, they just wanted to screw us.
so they had to tune it down or something like that. So it's interesting how they bring stuff, but it's always a little bit different. Anyways,
Yeah.
from Legion's Con, which we were talking about, so everybody's been talking about in the chat, they're talking about $700, $800. Oh my gosh.
I think it's going to be 900.
I think it'll be less than $499.
All right, so that is one view of the dragon. Looks really cool. And what I thought I'd do is I just throw this up there. This is the size of it. So it's 28 inches from basically feet to top of wing when you got it upwards, right? Then the length from nose to tail when you got it out there is 54 inches. And then the flame effect is 16 inches. So theoretically, if you had this set up just like that, it would be 54, 64, 70 inches long. Which
I think the way you guys are doing your math, like that 54, that is from the start to the finish. It doesn't start in the middle.
negative.
No, I do technical drawings for
Okay, look at the height guide from the feet to the top of the wing. See that little line, how it goes up to the top? That is 20 inches from there to there, not all the way down to the corner.
Correct.
See how there's not like a little notch, but there is a little
notch.
notch, but there is a notch at the nose. It says 54 between those 2 points.
Correct.
Then between the other 2 points is 16. If it was going to be like the total length, you wouldn't have that 16.
Well, they're showing because that's how big
They're
flame
showing
is.
you the two different lengths between the lines.
Correct. No, I was just trying to say it's not 6 feet. Like here's 54 inches. It fits. I don't know. Here's 54 inches right here. Sorry, I was looking at centimeters.
Yes, you were.
Yeah. Jonathan's saying it's technically 5.8 feet tall. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for checking out the clips of the 80s episodes of the Toy Duo. We'll be back next week with more live episodes. And thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. And as always, have a fantastic day.